Hi everyone, this is Marie Blue Angel back with another Otome Jam 2023 entry, and this time it is Duskbound. Um, yeah, all I know is that there is a vampire involved, and that from what I already see from the title screen, I'm in love with it already. If you can hear a bit of the music, it's very nice for the ambiance of this starting screen, and I'm just deeply curious about what will happen. So yeah, please join me in checking out Duskbound, and of course I'll be linking the Itch.io game page in the description below. So check it out, and support the artist. If you like the visual novel, I'm very excited about this. So let's just get into it. Where's my mouse? Okay. This game contains dark and unsettling themes and may not be suitable for everyone. Would you like to see the content warnings? I think I'm okay. Personally, maybe I'll say yes and then like cover my eyes and let you guys see it for a second. There are things I'm assuming on the screen. I see one word, it says blood. But yes, I'm gonna click. So just in case there's any spoilers. Okay, there's more stuff about. Oh, are we done? Okay. So, take that as you will. Please join me if you are fine after the content warnings. Let's see what happens. There is no light in this city. A dull red moon is all that illuminates our eternal night. A red moon? How interesting. Even the lanterns are obscured by countless moths. People trace the same paths every day, seemingly possessed by no spirit at all, simply droning on. Some days it feels like I am the only one who is alive, and everyone else is merely a ghost. It wasn't always like that. Long ago, this city shone as a beacon to all those who believed in the one Lord. Until the Red Plague fell upon us, and our great cathedral was abandoned by those who proclaimed they would save us. Oh no, how terrible. They took the light with them when they left. But they couldn't take everything from us. I, for one, have done my best to find hope in small things. Like my meeting with him. There is no light in this city, but he is the sun. Who is this he? Oh. I'm assuming this is the he. Ooh. I love the character design. I don't know who he is, but I saw him one day, ambling through the town square. His garments were impeccably tailored, and his hair framed his face in a way I had only seen in paintings. And those fine threads. If he had stopped by my workshop, I would have surely remembered. Of course, I have seen attractive men in my life, but there is simply something different about him, and that glint in his eyes. As I examined him, his eyes met mine, and a radiant smile came over his features. Oh, that smile is quite nice. It's so cute. The light behind his eyes shone so dazzlingly. I hadn't seen anyone in this city look like that in years. When it occurred to me that I was staring at him, I quickly averted my eyes, though. Pale one. Aw, this is us. We're so cute. Excuse me. I rushed past him, embarrassed by the blush slowly rising to my cheeks. Sorry for the change in voice. Now that I saw our character, I feel like I want to have a higher pitch rather than the one I have right now. Give me a second. Have some tea here. In the days that followed, I passed by the town square as often as I could afford myself the time to, hoping to catch a glimmer of him again. I had to confirm for myself that he was not an illusion. More than that, I had to confirm that the light that I had found in his eyes was more than a fluke. The longer I went without seeing him, the more I became convinced that I made it all up, that he was no different from the others, and that I was desperate for anything that would change the monotony of my dull days. But he was there again, and that same expression, with my heart beating very loudly now, was unmistakably real. He was looking at me with those eyes. Eyes that made me forget about this dreary place, and that sent me far away. Ever since then, I couldn't get him out of my head. More so, I couldn't let go. At first, I was content, glancing at him every now and then, a gentle reminder that not all is dark and lost. Not all is dark, and not all hope is lost. But the more I gave in to thinking about him, the less I could accept the daily routine that I'd been shoving down my own throat and pretending I was content with. What I'm saying is, I grew greedy. I had been looking for an escape this entire time, not knowing how to find one. I could leave, but where to? Nothing but death awaits those that venture outside the city walls. The only solace available to me might be the mud arms of another, but I never found anyone fit to hold me. Still, things are different now. I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. That's why today, I'll change my fate.
Oh, how so? I'm intrigued. You just show up to this man's house.
I swallow hard, trying to calm my quaking heart and nervous breathing. He's mesmerizing. Hello.
You're so cute with the blushing. Oh my gosh. Ugh, I love like the style of clothing and everything also. It's very cute. Good day. Can I help you? I don't believe we've met. You say with your hand, with your little elbow like this, and I love this little pose.
Oh, of course. Why would he remember me? The words I so carefully rehearsed failed to spill from my lips. Well, I have seen you around. In the town square? Oh no, this isn't going anywhere.
Oh, I recall now, with those cute little fang smiles. Look at those fangs. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you earlier. I don't receive guests too often. Please come in. Why don't you join me for some tea? It's something of a hobby of mine, growing plants and combining them into interesting flavor combinations. Unfortunately, I am rather strapped for test tasters, so I'm unsure if they're any good.
My face flushes. He's being so kind, but why? I'm no more than a stranger plucked from the streets. Perhaps. Could it be? He sees the same light in my eyes that I see in his. A gentle warmth spreads throughout me, and I finally find it in me to meet his gaze. That sounds lovely. I must admit I'm no connoisseur of tea, but I do enjoy a cup every now and then. With plenty of milk, preferably. Oh, maybe that is a faux pas to a true tea enthusiast.
No such thing. Some teas are better with milk, and some without. There's plenty of time to get you acquainted. I personally love my teas with some milk in it. Do it the, I guess the English way. I learned about it when I first went to Canada many years ago. And now I I mean, I do drink teas without milk, but I do like it. It's like feels like a little dessert, in a sense. But please, it's quite chilly outside. Do come in. I insist.
I nod in agreement and cannot help my smile from growing wider. It seems that whoever is staring truly does come out victorious. As I enter through the doorframe, I glance up at him and can't help but notice. Those teeth look awfully sharp.
It's a cute little smile.
The mansion's interior is reminiscent of an antique shop, one that does not get customers all too often. There's an eeriness to the way it looks, almost abandoned, half hidden between cobwebs and dust, but the familiar smell of old books wafting over me is enough to put me at ease.
Oh, I love the smell of old books. Excuse me.
As I follow him through the hallway, I look around and wonder. The walls are lined with portraits of women. All of them look different, but they bear a chilling resemblance to one another. Some of them look expressionless, others sad, or even anguished. Not one of them wears a smile. But most unsettling of all, they remind me so very much of me.
Oh, that's a coincidence. I mean, that can't be coincidental. Ask? I'm a curious gal. If I notice something, also, I'd be kind of thrown off by this. I'm gonna ask.
Why, what lovely portraits. The artistry is apparent, but I must say they look so sullen. Might I ask the story of these paintings? He turns around slowly and purses his lips, as though he's unsure how to respond. After a drawn-out silence, I start. Oh. I'm sorry. If I pried into something I shouldn't have. His eyes soften.
No, don't worry. It's another hobby of mine, though I fear I'm not very good at it. After all this time painting the same subject, I have at least managed a modicum of skill in portraiture. Okay. Then who is this woman?
So, they're all portraits of the same woman. Then what love he must have had for her. I feel a pang of jealousy with my gut as I picture him gazing at her intently, working to capture her likeness, stroke by stroke.
Do you like them?
He stares longingly at the paintings for a moment, then directs his attention back to me. They're beautiful, truly. I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. However, if you wouldn't mind me asking, who is she? He chuckles, turning his gaze towards me.
Huh? You're just the same as always. Who said... Okay, well... So he knows her. She doesn't know him. Okay.
What?
Can't you see? They're you. All of them are you. My beautiful pale one, shining like the moon in the night sky. How I would have loved to capture your smile. Oh, I could feel it. You feel it too, don't you? Yes, this time. It's different. The miracle I have been waiting for. You're drawn to me this time. Oh, okay, so I'm assuming this vampire has been living for a very long time. And she died and came back? Question mark? You've never looked at me like that. Scarlet eyes sparkling. That face. No pain. No fear. It makes me happy. Okay. Okay, I could play along, but I would be panicking. I'm panicking. I'm just like... I think it's a fair thing to panic. You know, it's a reasonable thing. Yeah, I'm gonna panic. But I don't know. I won't get any answers if I play along, I feel.
I don't know what you're on about. I cannot deny that these portraits do bear some resemblance to me, but we haven't met, and I've certainly not sat for any portraits.
No, 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 no. Just when I thought things had changed. Oh, what was it this time? Was it something I'd said? It's useless, isn't it? You. Why must you torment me like this?
The light I saw in him left his eyes completely in that moment. A cold shell remained, leaving me to wonder which one was the real him. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I have to leave. I take a step back towards the front door, but he grips my wrist with a terrifying strength.
I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
I glance at his stoic face with bewilderment. Why is his expression so dead? I can't understand any of this. And his eyes, how hollow they seem now, all light extinguished. It pains me to see him so, but as he tightens his hold on my wrist, I snap back to the situation at hand. I try to pull my arm from his grip, but it simply won't move.
Keep pulling.
I keep pulling with what strength I have, but it won't move at all. Just what do you want from me?
Look at me again with those eyes, and things can go back to normal. Oh. Please, my dearest Moon. Look at me.
I know what he wants now, but I'm terrified. How can my eyes fill with love when he has lost the very thing that pulled me in?
We're gonna try smiling.
I muster my best attempt at a smile, but it feels lopsided and wrong at best.
An absolutely joyless laughter
Resounds throughout the hallway.
Pathetic. Absolutely pitiful, really.
As suddenly as it appeared, his smile recedes from his features to reveal an almost fragile expression.
Oh, my dearest pale one. How I squandered this chance. Next time I'll do better. I promise. I am scared. Alas, until then, whenever and however that may be.
Without warning, he knocks me out.
Oh.
There is no way to know how much time has passed once I regain consciousness. I slowly open my eyes, and a wave of panic washes over me as I realize I am tied to a chair. That's when I notice him sitting across from me, his expression hidden behind his easel. I try screaming, begging, bargaining, anything that could get him to listen. But he no longer looks at me. He simply stares off into some impossibly far distance, somewhere where I can't reach, and probably somewhere where he can't reach either. As he looks through me, he paints my form as though possessed. With each erratic stroke, he transposes a piece of me from reality into his canvas, and once he's done, there'll be nothing left of me.
And number one, answered your own question. Okay. Okay, let's load that from here and play along. Okay, let's not panic. Play along.
Conflicting emotions slash around the pit of my stomach, causing me to fall silent. I don't know how these paintings could possibly be of me, but how can I not feel flattered by such words? Our meeting in the town square must have made quite an impact on him after all. It seems he was simply afraid of overwhelming me. He's odd, but perhaps it's precisely that which has me charmed.
Also, to go back to N1, is it the case that, like, they've met before? And, like, maybe now she doesn't really realize who he is to her? If they have a history? And maybe he, like, do die? Or does he, like, hypnotize you? I don't know. I don't know what vampire abilities we have here, but maybe he's like hypnotized her and she doesn't remember the encounter, and so he can start again. I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know, we'll see.
I can't deny that the connection I feel towards him seems like something more than a whim. Something is set alight in the air between us when our eyes meet. Something that was always there, in my dreams, just out of reach. But he's here now, and he's real, and he feels it too. Who am I to scoff at that, when I'm the only one who could possibly understand? You would compare me to the moon. It's embarrassing to admit it, but ever since I first laid eyes on you in the town square, you have been like the sun to me. You shine in these dreary days of dullness, reminding me of what good remains in this world. I bashfully squint my eyes shut and will myself to turn invisible. I can't believe I just said that out loud.
If you only knew, my dear pale one, my rays of light can only reach their true magnificence when reflected by the moon. Look at that blush.
I'd have expected a mansion of this size to have servants sweeping the floors or conversing in hushed whispers as they pass through the hallways. However, I don't see a single soul as he guides me to the drawing room. Our only accompaniment is the echoed sound of our footsteps. The more I see of his residence, the more I'm reminded of a ruin, a tomb where some nobleman lies buried beneath luxuries he no longer has use for. A deep sense of loneliness seeps out of every wall, threatening to suffocate me. I wonder how he feels, wandering through these halls all alone.
Oh, what a cute room. Here we are. Please have a seat. I'll be right back.
He gestures at a worn-down but clearly well-made sofa before disappearing behind the door. I sit down and look around the room to pass the time. It's beautiful, but looks somehow disheveled. The candles stand crooked in the candlestick, and a thin layer of dust covers most of the surfaces in the room, further exemplifying its apparent disuse. He steps back inside, a silver tray held delicately in hand.
I hope I didn't keep you waiting too long.
Not at all. He swiftly places down 2 elegant teacups on the table, their aromatic steam breathing life into the stillness of the room. The sight of the lace dolly's pristine white color makes a slight worry creep up my back. I must not spill the tea. Steadying my hand, I lift the teacup and bring it to my lips. The tea ripples as I blow on it gently. Of course, it is entirely too hot to drink. This was merely a practice run. Perhaps a few minutes of conversation should have it ready. I take it you do not make much use of the drawing room. He lowers his cup and nods.
Ah, I suppose it was obvious. The majority of my time is spent in my atelier, or in my study when I wish to read. As you can likely tell by now, this place is far too spacious for me alone. Still, as long as I live in this dreaded city, I can't bring myself to abandon my family home, even if little remains of those who once called it so. Perhaps especially so, because of that.
I fall silent for a moment, unsure of how to respond. Should I distract him from the dreary topic by delving into our shared interest in reading? It doesn't feel right skirting around his tragedy merely because it is unpleasant. Was it the Red Plague? My sister and I lost our parents and baby brother. It must be hard not having anyone.
I did not mean to make you pity me. Death might be a consolation compared to wandering around this ghost of a city.
I do hope your family is at peace.
Apologies, I did not mean to dampen the mood. Now, enough of all that. Tell me, to what do I owe the pleasure of your visit?
Oh no, I can't avoid it any longer. I came here for a reason, but would it be absurd to lay it on the table like this so soon? then again, with the things he has said before, it feels as though he already knows my heart. Is there any point in hiding it anymore?
Confess your love. I mean, I don't know. I think it could be fun. I want to ask about him instead, because I need to know more details, but confess your love is a great option. But let's ask about him instead.
Despite feeling confident earlier, I have lost my nerve. Thinking about how I compared him to the sun makes me feel like an imbecile. Oh, how I would love to confess, but I cannot do it yet. Why did he have to ask me so forthrightly? I look into his captivating amber eyes and take a sip of my tea. I can't bear to lie to him. All I can do is avoid his inquiry by subtly changing the subject. Oh, but where are my manners? I haven't even introduced myself yet. My name is...
Shh.
Before I realize it, he's put his finger to my lips. Our first touch. I can't suppress the faintest flutter of my heart. The chill of his cold skin lingers on my lips even when he moves his hand away.
It's not important. Not yet. I'll get to know you in many ways, and this one will be the last. The last. What does that mean?
I knew that there was something more to him from the first moment I saw him. My fascination with him is only heightened by these mysterious digressions. Very well, I'll oblige you. In return, will you tell me your name?
His eyes panic for a second. Virgilius de Lanceroy. Virgilius de Lanceroy.
Virgilius, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Look at the blush.
He sheepishly nods his head. I let his name swish around the inside my mouth like wine. It's pleasant. Have you been living in this city for long?
Oh, so very long. Longer than I can be bothered to remember. Tell me, have you ever tried to leave?
Me? Leave? Where to? I mean, based on what I've heard, the journey past these city walls spells certain death for someone like me.
I have tried. It's not the journey that is impossible, it's the very act of stepping outside the city walls. Some dark force wraps itself around me enough to make me stagger and suffer, but never enough to kill. So like you, I have been stuck here, wanting nothing more than to leave, yet not knowing how.
My eyes widen with curiosity. I've never heard of anyone who has tried to leave this place. We all resign ourselves to our hopeless fate and do nothing but pray to the one Lord that things will change. But they never do. Everything only falls into further disrepair. Yet still, I cannot shake that small grain of hope that embeds itself in my heart. I want to know what he has found. I lift my cup to take another sip of my tea. But I feel my attention...
Oh, sir, why'd you do that?
But I feel myself growing hazy and my attention slips.
Oh, I do hope the tea was to your liking. You drugged her. Why'd you drug her?
Muffled screams startled me awake, and as I desperately attempt to jolt up, I am met with a searing ache that grips my entire body. I can't see anything. A cold sweat runs down my back, and my breath hitches in my throat. My head swirls with questions as my situation sinks in. What happened? Where is he? How could he do this to me? I try to sit up more slowly this time.
Oh.
Only then do I sense the presence of a tightly yanked chain around my ankle. It allows for a minimal movement, keeping me tethered to this wretched place. My eyes adjust as I feel my way around the room, hands moving against peeling wallpaper, gripping on fabric, and accidentally knocking against wood. It's no dark, dank attic. It appears to be a fairly well-maintained guest bedroom. Or perhaps it used to be someone else's. A melancholy thought.
Oh? You're finally awake, and it looks like you have had some blood, sir.
I gasped involuntarily at the sight of him.
Don't be afraid, dear pale one. I would never hurt you.
The sound of muffled screaming fills the air once more, and I recoil. What are those sounds? And whose blood is that? He wipes the blood from his face and licks his finger in a smooth, practiced gesture as he draws closer to me. Up close and under dim lighting, I notice an almost otherworldly glow in his golden eyes. The faint scent emanating from him is nostalgic and somehow intoxicating. It's making my head spin.
You must have heard the tales. Perhaps you dismiss them as all nonsense, but the Red Plague isn't always fatal. Those of us unfortunate enough to survive it are changed forever. It is blood, and blood alone that sustains us. Oh, okay, so the Red Plague. Oh, you get turned into a vampire if you survive.
Yeah, you are a vampire.
I don't know, the Fang stuff was apparent to me. Did you just not know, girl? Oh, it's okay. Whatever, we're figuring it out as we go.
My breaths get more erratic as his face inches closer.
Do I frighten you?
Oh. I avert my eyes and look at the floor. I want to say that he does. Of course he does. Yet despite that, something inside of me still finds him beautiful. As I ponder my response, my eyes hover over the chain around my ankle. Could my judgment be clouded by his golden eyes and silver tongue? I yank on the chain and muster the courage to look at him. Remove this chain immediately.
Of course. If you promise to stay by my side, then I would be more than happy to do so.
Of course, there's no way I can promise that.
I know. I cannot ask that of you. That's precisely why the chain is necessary. Though it is charming that you would not even think to deceive me.
He softly pats my head, and I instinctively back away from his touch.
Apologies. I didn't mean to condescend. Please, pretend it didn't occur.
Why did you do this to me?
I suppose by now there is nothing left but be direct about my intentions. Dearest Pale One, won't you grant me some of your blood? Oh?
He wants my blood? Absolutely not. Who knows what will happen to me? I might even contract the Red Plague for myself. There has to be a way out of here. As I contemplate the means of my escape, he takes my silence as an answer and sighs.
Just please consider it, for the both of us. I'll leave you be for now. Besides, I need to finish what I started.
Finish what he started? You wouldn't hurt me, would you?
I'm sorry that it has come to this, chaining you to this room, but I promise I would never treat you badly. I need you. Please make yourself at home. This is yours to do with as you please.
As he starts to walk away again, I follow him for as far as my chain allows. Why am I doing this? Why do I yearn for him? I thought I was scared, but I don't know what to think anymore. Logic seeps through my fingers as my heart bounds after him. Standing there in the door frame, he turns around.
For you to approach me this time. The fates have aligned, I'm sure, and for that I am grateful. Thank you, my dear Pale One.
Suffocating loneliness envelops the dreary room once more. I make my way back to the meticulously made bed and slump down. Could I have known this would happen? What am I going to do? What can I do? The screams I heard in the distance grow louder and louder. Eventually, they stop, leaving in their wake a deafening silence more oppressive than their noise ever was.
Good morning, dear Pale One. Will you offer me your blood today? Second one?
If I refuse, will you take more innocent people's lives only to prolong your own?
You misunderstand. They are not people. Surely you have realized it by now. Here, where darkness reigns and emptiness echoes, we are the only survivors. They're lost to the cycle, Pale One. They trudge on, possessed by something akin to instinct, but there's no soul left within.
I find myself at loss of words. I cannot deny that I have thought the same thing he has, but it isn't right to reduce humans to nothing so easily. How can we know what goes on in their minds? How can you be so sure? Is it not mere arrogance to put yourself above everyone else like that?
I am entirely certain. Pale One, if we have walked through the same streets, come across the same husks, then we both bear witness to that fact. But it's just like you to still think of them as human, as beings that still have hopes and dreams. I'm glad to see you still have that infectious optimism. It warms my heart. Good morning, dear Pale One. I hope you slept well. Will you offer me your blood today? Why do you want the blood? Why do you want my blood? I could tell you the answer, but you would not believe me. You never do. Promise to believe him.
Then I promise to believe you.
That's not an easy promise to keep. Huh. Tell me, Pale One, would you want to save this city if you could?
To put an end to the eternal night. If we could bring back things to how they were, then that would be better. But they've tried so many things. It's nigh impossible to solve a problem if you don't know the cause.
Oh, crazy laughter.
I'm taken aback as he laughs almost mockingly, though there's no amusement in his eyes. You know of the cause.
Yes, the cause. Of course I would know it, because I am the cause. This is my dreadful curse, Pale One. It's only saving grace the way it binds me. Its only saving grace is the way it binds me to you.
He glances out the window towards the red moon.
You did promise to believe me this time.
Please, help me understand you. Help me understand this curse. He closes his eyes and takes a moment to think of what to say, then looks at me with conviction.
The flow of time is distorted in this place, which is why we cannot leave. We live in a pocket of the world governed by its own laws. Time folds and loops in and on itself over and over and over again. It's not something that the human mind was made to bear. With every passing recurrence, another loses their identity completely. I am the only one who was forced to remember it all, not allowed the luxury of forgetting. I am but a prisoner of my own memories.
What he's saying is hard to swallow. It's a lot, and I don't know how any of it would make any sense, but I am determined to keep my promise. I've seen what he describes. No one is themselves anymore. Perhaps they're nothing more than husks, after all. So, you've lived through all of this only to see the world more further and further from its proper state. He gives a curt nod.
I would like to believe that things do get better, that the city will be saved one day, but that hope is becoming increasingly difficult to hold on to. Why is it cursed, though? It's interesting. I don't know. The more I ponder it, the more it feels like a lost cause. I mean, what else is the point in dousing a house that has already turned to ash? Even if we were to lift this curse, what left is to rise from its shadow. But you're the only constant. Your pure soul is enough to withstand the weight of time piling up.
His soft smile takes on a different meaning to me now. He must have lived in the loneliest of worlds. If all he lives through isn't real to anyone else, then how could anyone else feel real to him?
I've tried to approach you countless times, but somehow we are fated to end each other. The time rearranges without a care, and I am the one who remembers what we've been through. In recent cycles, I have kept my distance, for it hurts more to be with you than to simply watch from afar. That way, I thought I could be content, seeing you about your day,
seeing you alive and untainted by my deeds. And me, I'm nothing but a shadow of the man I once was. I too have lost myself, though not like the others. Their fate might be merciful compared to mine. Their fiendish lust for blood has only intensified and makes me... This fiendish lust for blood has only intensified and makes me ashamed of myself.
I grasped his hand, his shaking hand in mine, overcome with the desire to ease his suffering. Who would ever make up such a story as this? Why only tell me now? I am holding on to my promise in the deepest recesses of my heart, and that means disregarding and discarding my doubt. Have you told me all this many times before? It must not be easy to stay kind and patient when all your actions are brought to naught again, time and time again, and no one else remembers any of it the next day.
I have tried to tell you many a time, but without the right lead-up, it is doomed to fail. You might run from me or retaliate in violence. Sometimes you make fun of me, other times you grow frightened. I've seen almost every face you can make, but this kind of occurrence is rare. Your looking at me with kindness is in many ways my greatest relief. But it's not new. It has happened before a handful of times. Those loops are the most painful. I grow only attached to you. I grow attached to you only to lose you. That fated loss has not been overturned. So this time too, I resist the temptation to hope.
My fingers trace the lines on his palm as he speaks. He does not stir, so he must not mind it. All I can do is listen in awe and hope that my warmth reaches him.
But I am being unfair. I am only manipulating you by telling you one side of this tale. Pale One, my dearest, inside of me, another impulse tugs at my sanity. I can feel that unwavering need crawling under my skin, begging to be sated. I wish not only to have you for myself. More than anything, I wish to ruin you. How so? Knowing our inevitable final destination, why not let me be merciful and end you myself, knowing that it is out of love? Seeing you twist up and contort in pain, or letting you submit to the wiles of something primal and terrible, crushing the one good thing left in this miserable nightmare. I know that this is all temporary, so why bother with decency anymore? Nothing means anything, and shame ceases to exist. It's no more real than a fairy tale to anyone but me. My downfall is mine alone to witness.
As he speaks, he grips my hands tightly. His nails dig into my skin, but not enough to draw blood. I call your bluff. You're testing me. You're trying to scare me off before you find yourself actually caring again.
None of this is a bluff, dear Pale One. It is all true. If you could see the fates I put you through, recall the things I have made you feel, you would not want me anywhere near you. You would loathe me.
You're holding back even now, aren't you? Otherwise, you would have forcefully taken my blood. Your dedication is admirable, and if it matters to you so much, show me those fates then. I want to remember. If we're the ones who will live through this tragedy, then I want to be there for it all.
My beautiful, innocent Pale One. Oh, why, I have yet to answer your question. In order to end this cycle of terror, I need your blood, for only yours can purify my curse. I have tried taking it forcefully, but it never works. You lose your purity. Indeed, you must offer me your blood without coercion, in faith and innocence. Then, and only then, will the curse lift and the eternal night end.
And everything will return to how it once was.
I'm afraid I cannot answer that, as I have never gone into that point. We would have to wait and see. However, I do not believe the damage wrought can be undone. Those whose minds have been ground to dust will likely collapse physically as well. In fact, I do not know the effects of introducing a regular flow of time to those who have been in a closed loop for so long.
Then, isn't it dangerous? What about you, or me? A vampire cannot live to face the sun, right? What kind of life would you even lead?
Would you believe me if I said I hadn't thought about it? This whole time I've been working towards an empty goal. I do not know what it lies beyond it, and I have nothing else to try.
That's not the right way for anyone to live. There has to be some point to all of this madness. How do you even know that this is the only solution?
He told me.
Who's he?
The one who orchestrated this ordeal. Before he left, he told me that you were the key to all of this. I didn't understand the significance of it, any of it, at the time. In fact, I didn't even realize what had happened.
And here I thought that this was all your fault.
He laughs humorously again, but I am a villain all the same.
Aren't you playing right into his hand by following his command? Don't you want to defy the one who took everything from you?
Oh, I know that expression. It's the one I used to wear. Of course, by the time I realized the inescapable gravity of my fate, I was furious. My rage was an inquenchable flame. But time dulls all senses, and there's no direction for this feeling. I took it out on you many times, but that only made me feel worse with each passing loop.
Oh. Of course. Who knows how long it has been for him? Perhaps he himself can no longer keep track. The feelings of someone who might as well be an outsider hearing this for the first time can't begin to compare. I don't think it's right, any of this. His acceptance of his role as some great evil is saddening, and I won't have it. But what can we begin to do?
I can't possibly care about lifting the city's burden. Now that I've told you all this, it might be enough for me. It feels like some weight has been lifted off my shoulders. You truly are skilled at keeping your promises.
It is but one of my many talents. Surely, through all this time, you must have seen them in action. For example, fearlessly going through with plans anyone else would have deemed too absurd to attempt.
Such an ending. Such as ending up on my doorstep without having spoken a single word to me before.
Maybe.
What on earth were your intentions?
Don't make fun of me.
How could I ever?
I came to confess my love.
You don't leave me speechless too often anymore. It'll be quite the shame when I have to part from you this time.
Who says we have to?
Oh, you would grace us with even more absurd plans.
We can be tied together for all of eternity by forgetting about this tragedy and denying the mastermind the payoff he's waiting for. I pull him towards me, and with my mouth close to his ear, I speak in a hushed voice. I know the tales they tell. For once, we can make this red plague our blessing. Let me have your blood instead, to become what you are and to stay here, by your side forever.
You don't know what you're saying. You would throw everything away for me.
That is what I came here to do in the first place. In fact, what do you believe I'm throwing away? There's nothing here, nothing left. Not for me, nor for you.
I have tried to take control of my destiny many times. I've kept my distance in hopes it would afford you peace. I have lost hope entirely. But I suppose I have never tried submitting to your will. What do we stand to lose?
Less than we stand to gain.
Oh. Oh. Look at this CG.
The sensation of sinking your teeth into someone's neck is a strange one. It takes a lot of determination to pierce the skin to muster the courage to follow through. I have never been one to hurt others, but I know that this pain I inflict is entirely desired, and based on his reaction, I dare say it is somewhat pleasurable. It makes me happy. I never knew how good it would feel, and the taste of his blood is nostalgic. Virgilius, will you be mine?
Always was, dear Pale One. Always was.
Embracing N5, embracing the night. How fun. Okay, I am just curious if I just confess my love outright. That was great. I love that because we got to know more of the lore and the background of the story, so I'm very happy. But I'm just gonna see where we are in the tea room if I just have her confess her love, if what will happen.
Perhaps against my better judgment, I muster up the courage to get the words out of my mouth. I'm about to say something insolent and brash. Will you forgive me?
You can say anything to me and I'll accept it. My forgiveness is always irrevocably yours.
Something but the kind look in his eyes and the candor in his words give me pause. I do not deserve this warmth. The reason I came here today is because I cannot forget about you. I simply cannot let you go. Ever since the eternal night fell, everyone in the city has been lost. They aren't alive. They're only puppets acting out some play long after the audience has left. I, too, was lost, but when I looked into your eyes for the first time, I felt found. You aren't like them. You are the only person in this world who feels real. I know this sounds like insanity, and you are free to send me away. I have seen the way you look at me. If it is as I suspect, and this feeling is something you recognize, then please, let me stay by your side. My heart pounds against my chest, but I feel relieved to finally speak aloud the feelings I held inside, no matter what comes next.
I love that. Take the chance.
I cannot believe it. Joy, elation, words fall short of describing the feeling you've stirred inside me. I was right this time. Finally, you have come to your senses, and have come to see that you belong to me. He holds out his hand to me. It doesn't matter that I do not understand why. None of this matters. Only he and I exist, and that is the truth. Briefly, I think back to my home, to my workshop where I make the same dreamless robes day after day until my hands can remember the steps better than I remember the faces of my parents. To my sister, who, try as she may to suppress it, holds that quiet resentment in her gaze as she looks at me. Why was I the one who lived and not my precious brother? And now I can leave it all behind. None of these ties have to bind me as long as I have another thread to hold on to. I'm taking his hand. This eternal night exists because we cannot fulfill our rules without one another. You understand, don't you? Your purity is mine and mine alone to corrupt.
Corrupt me then. I won't protest.
I'll make sure to savor it slowly.
I think he might be dangerous. This might be entirely warped, a choice born out of desperation. But right now, that thought doesn't reach my heart. All of this makes sense. No, it has to make sense. If it doesn't, the red moon has hollowed us all out, and I don't know how much longer could have taken it before I would have ended up like them. It's better to go out in a blaze than to be ground to dust. He moves over and brushes his fingers against me softly, running them first along my cheeks, then over my lips and down my neck. Every touch sends a spark that alleviates my loneliness just a little more. Bit by bit, as he caresses every inch of my exposed skin, I'm trembling. His breath tickles my ear as he whispers,
I want to rip you open.
How romantic.
If I can only live inside you. But don't worry. I'll make sure no harm befalls you, my love.
I press my lips against his shakily. My hesitance finds no reply in him as he pulls me in. His mouth moves against mine insatiably, seeming to carry the weight of a lifetime of yearning. It's nothing I have ever felt before. I melt into his rhythm with a sigh, wrapping my arms around him as I lose faith in my ability to support my own body. Then he parts from me and takes my hand in my face in his hands. A smile spreads across his face as he presses his forehead against mine.
I have seen you in so many forms, but this one is new. Even the scent of the blood in your veins has become sweeter. Everyone has forgotten the hundreds upon thousands of times this night has repeated. Even you. I am the only one who remembers all of you. That is why I am the only one who can have you. You're mine.
I'm yours. He runs his tongue along my neck. I feel his fangs graze against my skin and hold back a gasp. So it's true. It's not that I've never heard of them before, those cursed to walk between life and death. I suppose I had thought them more of a tale to scare misbehaving children. Maybe I should have known when I saw his grin. He's a vampire.
If you offer me your blood, the eternal night will come to a final end. Our curse will be dissolved. You'll be free.
Go on then. Do it.
But freedom can be a terrifying thing.
I'll have you, won't I? Unable to stay away from him now that I have had a taste, I kiss him again. A quiet peace falls over us as we desperately try to fill the gaps between our physical forms.
My dearest pale one.
His fangs brush against my neck once more, but they ask to sink deeper this time. Taking a deep breath, I give a small nod. He breaks my skin and I shut my eyes tightly. It burns white hot, but the pain isn't unpleasant.
Absolutely delicious.
I feel him softly chuckle against me.
Tastes better without resistance after all.
He desperately drains me to the point where I start to feel lightheaded and loosen my grip. I tug at his back and he pauses to look down at me. My weakened body collapses onto his as the world stirs. Through closed eyes I can feel it, an unfamiliar sensation. Warm, thin strokes of light filter through the window.
Ugh.
I open my eyes in shock and cling on to him, lacking the strength to lift my arms.
It seems my curse does not end here.
What? No. Wait. He slowly raises a limp hand towards me.
My moon.
He hacks and coughs with features scrunched in anguish as flames clutch at his back. The first light of dawn is no sweet relief to a creature of the night. How could he not have known, or did he know? Do I detect the faintest trace of a smile amidst all the pain, or is it merely a trick of the light? The crackling noise makes me wince as a horrible stench emerges from his charred and twisted skin. Smoke climbs through my nose and mouth, suffocating me slowly. I can no longer tell if my tears are from the pain or from the tragedy of this outcome. Can my body quell these flames, or will they simply spread and consume me? Is there anything I can do? Don't go. You can't. No, please. You can't leave me behind. What am I supposed to do without you? But he has no mouth to respond to me with. Before me lies nothing but a pile of ash.
And 3. Unfit to meet the light of day. Okay. Well, great. Those are 3 endings. I believe then there should at least be 2 more. But I'm going to call it here for today. That was really good. I really like this visual novel. I like the general premise. I think that End of 5 was the most informative in the sense of like why everything is happening with the Eternal Night and this curse and the Red Plague and who this man is and everything. And we also know like names and stuff, although I don't know if I'll ever learn her name or their name, the Pale One's name, so who knows. I love the art, I like the music, I like the story. It's all very lovely. If you want to check out the visual novel and try to get these other endings for yourself, then please do so. I have again linked the itch.io page in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, this was really great. I really enjoyed this one. I really like stuff with like vampire, like based on vampire lore and everything, so it's really great to see that here, and the art style is so beautiful, so it's really fun to see. But yes, anyways, have a good rest of your day. I will see you next time soon with another entry from the Tommy Jam from this year. So look forward to it. Bye.